You got stuff.
Ooh.
Not sponsored.
Lana's just mad that I cut her off mid-sentence to start the intro.
You treated her like she was Alyssa Edwards.
Sure
before
did.
the Rumel goes off.
Sure did. Anyway, hello, Divas, and welcome to the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Gay. Oh, I was like, shit, and none of y'all do. Okay, fuck all of you. No, I'm kidding.
It is late.
Hey, whatever. No, okay, bye. No, I'm kidding. I'm having coffee because God knows I fucking need it right now.
Hello, I'm Lana. I'm your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. I'm not drinking. Oh, yes, I am. I do have something to drink. Water. Water is always important. I also have my David. Please know I was coming. Dude, wait a minute.
Wow, David.
You know
Ew,
what?
David.
I feel like
I'm going to use the trap door.
Who did that?
I did that. I did that. I just feel like nobody wants me here anymore. Everybody wants to take over and do things. I get cut off.
I thought you were pulling it up. So I
get cut off. I get upstage with my cup mug. My only thing that I have. But get your cup mug. LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. And we do ship domestically here in the United States and Canada and Mexico, and we do ship internationally, so there are no excuses. And we do have other merch. It's not just a cup mug. We have other things. So, but there is a few excuses, I will say, because if your country's on fire, under fire, or underwater, then there's some excuses. But after everything gets handled, everybody's safe, everything's back to normal, celebrate with cup merch. Period.
Well, I'm David Healy, and I don't have a cute intro, but I do have a cute shirt. I'm wearing my caramel shirt. Yep. One of my favorites from last year. And I'm not drinking anything.
Hey up, Chucks, I'm Eris Envy, York's punk rock hairy fairy, your favourite rugby playing drag queen. And today I'm drinking a lot of water because it's flu season and I don't want to get sick.
I'm very happy I was able to get in, and I got my flu and my COVID booster recently. Not the same one. I had to get 2 shots, and I hated every moment of it. But what I didn't hate every moment of was this episode of Drag Race UK. A lovely episode. I cried, but a lovely episode. Nonetheless. And we're going to talk about all of it. But before we do, make sure to subscribe if you've not already, because we're here almost all the time giving you almost all things drag, and that's a lot of drag currently. And we're very thrilled for 4 out of the 5. And make sure to check out the description below where you can find all of our audio podcast links, our other YouTube channels, and our Patreon for exclusive content and early access. So we walk into the workroom. No one went home. No one went home. Yeah. Basically, no one goes home. And they're all like, oh my God, congrats, Kyron. You did the thing, girl. Yes, Diva, slay.
Yes, and then we see Octavia taking off her makeup. And
oh my God.
I've never seen anything like that. It's just because she had all the colors on her face. So her face was just like the smudgiest mess of makeup. And it was so entertaining to watch.
And it was already muddy to begin with. It just got worse. It was.
Whatever.
Well, these shows are filmed a year in advance.
Well, yes.
I like
Well,
that.
also it was the full face of it all. There were just some things that could have been better, but it was overall pretty good. But my favorite part of the intro as they're doing the da 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 da, and then you just see Kyron. Anyone want a spanking? Loved it. Just use your
Anyone want a
broom for evil,
spanking?
Diva, I guess. Lana needs a broom right now to whack all of us over the head.
Are you calling me a witch?
Maybe. Or I'm just calling you the resident evil diva.
Oh,
Here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know you love the tea. Purr.
oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. But yes, we come. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, following on from last episode, when we found out it was like non-elimination, I took a deep breath in and just went, "Oh, thank God, Shara's not going home first." Because I don't
think she would have anyway.
Well, me neither, because I know Chara's a good performer. But I was just like,
I don't know if I would have had in the bottom too, but I can't remember anything what I wrote down.
I
so I don't know.
did.
I was, yeah.
Oh yes, I did. Never mind. Never mind.
And
I did.
even though I'm now mistaken, I thought Chara was more than slower than she thought she was. Actually, that we'll talk about that later. Logan.
I was gonna say you're jumping all the way ahead, Diva Honey Mama of Life. But we come into the workroom the next day. They are all celebrating the fact that no one went home.
Yeah.
And then RuPaul comes in and says that someone's going home. And no mini challenge. Who needs a mini challenge? Not us, apparently.
There's kind of a mini challenge.
A little bit.
Groups.
Put yourself in teams now.
That's the mini challenge of it all.
Well, who were the winners and the losers of that?
We all know the winners of this week's mini challenge.
Imagine it's the fact that all seamstresses just grabbed each other without knowing what challenge it was.
You had to expect it had to be a sewing challenge, right?
I miss when that was the standard of Drag Race. Like, first episode, we need to know if you can make it.
I don't know if I would have expected it. I would, because it could have been an acting challenge.
Yeah, I would have expected
an acting challenge or something like that. It could have been anything. I wouldn't have. Only way I would have thought it was like anything else if they were like 2 teams of 6 or something. Like, okay,
it's a
girl group challenge.
Girl group challenge. It's a girl group or an acting challenge.
Those are the only. But see, we've seen the acting challenges with 3 people because it's like the infomercial challenge where it's like, or the like little the daytime television shows or whatever you know they do. So I would have thought maybe an acting challenge or.
Yep. Have we seen sewing challenges with teams of 3?
Teams of 3? I haven't.
Yes, I'm trying to remember
seen it
when.
With pairs. Oh wait, no, we have seen it with threes. We've seen it on Drag Race Canada season 1.
Yeah, Canada's Drag Race. It was the paper plastic and the that horrible challenge. Metal, yeah.
In that case, yeah, they should have known better.
Hey, I like the way that they did this. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But we end up with our 3 groups. We have all the seamstresses together. And the way that I was watching this, and my boyfriend goes, they all look like they could be siblings. And I'm like, yeah, except one's English, one's Scottish, and one's Welsh, but sure.
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
I guess. Just need Chara to be in that group, and then everyone's represented.
Yippee!
But yeah, so we have that group. We have Kiki, Lavoie, and
I have them written down. Kiki,
please,
Lavoie,
David.
and Chara.
Mm-hmm.
Chara, yes.
Chanel, Marmalade, Lil,
Mm-hmm.
Dita, Saki, Relisa, Zahira, Octavia, Kyron.
Period.
And so they are each pulling something out of Rue's dusty pink box. Because we find out it is a team design challenge, unconventional material boots the house down, room challenge extravaganza.
Ball.
Yes. And I love that they kind of took the elements of like, because I immediately thought, oh my God, I loved when they did this kind of like room-based design challenge.
That's what I thought they were going to do in 16 from when they did it in 16. Yeah,
15.
They did it in 16 as
It
well.
was in 16.
Oh,
too.
you're thinking of the room design challenge.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm thinking of when they had a design challenge and they had to take all the materials from a room.
Oh no, I thought they were going to be
You're
doing
thinking
a
of
room
the
design
bathroom challenge.
which I thought was
You're thinking
amazing.
of the bathroom challenge.
Yes,
Yeah.
which I thought was so great. And I thought was amazing. I was like, oh, we're going to do a room challenge where they decorate a room.
Yeah, I realized saying room challenge is not. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, not what we were both thinking.
That was the early part of season 15 that you didn't watch, Lana.
Right. Okay.
Does anyone remember when, speaking of room challenges, does anyone remember when Drag Race Germany had a design challenge and they had to get the materials from a BDSM dungeon?
Yes. I
What a
do
room
remember that
challenge.
actually.
Yeah, we went.
Imagine if that had been one of the rooms on this.
We didn't
I don't
get
think the British
monetized
Museum
for
Well-
that episode.
Well, Michelle's room was basically.
Pretty much
Oh,
that.
yes.
Well, yes.
A little vanilla. but-
So we have Michelle's room. We have the disco room.
Mhm.
We have the games
Well,
room.
the game room
and the
wellness
spa and wellness room.
Love
I
that.
fully believe Rue has a disco room in her house. I'm sorry.
Oh,
That
absolutely.
lady is rich and can absolutely afford it. And you
Her
know
house
it is
is
just
a
blasting
disco
Donna
room.
Summer in there
I'm about to say.
24/7. Actually,
Her
no,
whole
not
house
Donna
is a
Summer, it's
disco
Diana
room.
Ross. Sorry,
Yeah,
Lana.
both.
I was
Oh, it's
speaking
all
of you
Diana
now.
Ross.
Both. It
All
was
Diana
both.
Ross.
It's actually
Both.
both Diana Ross and Donna Summers. Like,
It interchanges.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
what.
yeah,
who
so-
said that? Was like, how posh is your house? Like,
Very.
really?
hmm
Mhm.
But yes, we're doing room design. They have unconventional materials and they have to create a 3-piece collection for their group. And some people work very, very well together, and some people
Do the best they can. with
barely
what they
know
have.
how to sew.
I
When-
Bless their
immediately,
hearts.
I immediately was worried for one specific team, and that was Zahira's team, knowing
Oh,
that she
yeah.
was the only one who could sew.
When
and
I found out Zahira was the most competent seamstress of that group, I immediately said, well,
well, and I was like,
Great.
okay, Actavia, this might be your episode because we know Kyron has immunity.
mhm.
My
Don't
thoughts as
send
well
my
is like,
baby home first.
when Chara said she couldn't sew, I was like, I am confident you have shown me an outfit before that you have sewn. So I was like, just a bit like, But you know what? I think she was the strongest sewer on that team, which is not a very high bar.
Yeah. And I do love this whole back and forth that we end up getting between Lavoie and Chanel. We were talking a little bit about the mirroring that everyone has, and I don't think Lavoie and Dita are mirrors. I think Lavoie and Chanel are mirrors. Because they have the same kind of dry sense of humor that I really, really love.
And expensive
And then
One
And
uses
then when
it for
they
good, one uses it for evil.
don't talk about Chanel like that.
It's only
cool.
facts. It's
It's
only
funny, though,
facts.
because they're low key becoming my favorite and least favorite personality in this cast. I had no idea that I would be falling in love with Lavoie as much as I am.
Mm.
She was such a sweetheart and so funny this whole episode. And I'm like, dang it, I really like you, girl. Didn't expect it.
Well, then I guess I will sit here as the Chanel O'Connor defender of this.
She's
this
great
podcast
TV.
here today.
I will remain quiet.
Me too.
And I was like, why are we bringing up Greg's? It just made me want a sausage roll. I'm like, God, I
Fucking
just want a sausage
Greg's.
roll now. It's fine.
Oh, sorry. I need to talk about my favorite bulk meal at the minute, which is when I'm trying to perfectly gain weight. It's called a Greg's lasagna. You order a steak
God.
bake, you order a cheese and onion pasty, you put them in the same bag, you eat them as one. One of my coworkers saw me doing it the other day and gave me the most concerned look I have ever been given in that staff room.
See, I just
More
assumed,
concerned than when I had my mental breakdown.
I assumed Greg's was like a department store or a clothing store. The way they were talking
It's
about
a
it,
bakery.
It's
she's
a
like,
bakery.
you've never been to Greg's. I'm like, okay, that must be a high
Yes,
end.
because she's skinny.
She's skinny.
Oh, it
She's
wasn't a you're
skinny.
poor.
No,
joke?
it's a you're skinny.
No, it's a
Oh,
you're
You have
skinny.
never
Greg's for
eaten
everyone,
Greg's a day in your life, you little skinny heifer. That's
If
all
you're
it was, that
really
one.
poor, you go to Pound Bakery.
Oh,
Mm.
I love Pound Bakery. by the
I've
way.
only heard of Greg's via YouTube. Oh no, TikTok.
Same.
So good, Lana.
Yeah.
It's so good. Right, we need to stop talking about Greg's because otherwise I'm going to march out that. No, not that door. That's my ensuite.
Baby,
gonna
I've
march
been
out
trying to
that
move on,
door
and you
and go
decided
to
to tell us
Greg's.
about your bulk meal. I've been trying to move on from the Greg's, but anyway, what else stood out to us as far as the creation of the garments, which was literally about half of the episode?
Well, there was the RuPaul like walkthrough where she talked to
Mhm.
everybody, and I had some highlights from that. So first of all, we have Chara showing off her design on her paper, and Rue's like, "Oh, it has a penis sticking out." And
So I was
Chara's
like,
like,
it's
"Well,
just a slap.
it wasn't
That's
supposed
not
to be."
what it's supposed to be, but you know, sure.
Sure, Rue. Whatever you say, Rue.
It's funny because I felt like Chara was about to go into this serious thing about, yeah, I have this, and I've never been a sexy queen, and then before she can
Right.
like really even get into that and like get the validation from Rue, you can be a sexy. It's like, oh, it has a penis. I'm like,
Thanks, Rue.
I have another standout from this part actually. This
Mhm.
is just before they go into the talks, but it's when who is it? Octavia and Kyron just look in the mirror with their wigs on and go, "We need to switch." And one of them gets this ridiculous mohawk, which I want so bad, and the other one gets this. I don't know how to describe it other than a barrister skullet that looks like a wet dead poodle. However,
Yeah,
I
you
also
could see
still
through
want
it.
it.
You could see through it when they were holding it up. You could see like gaps in it, and I'm like, oh no, that's a good one.
It's one. You can get away with that.
Yeah. Another thing. So, we had Dita talking to Rue, and this is where I got worried because Rue was like, "So far, you're really tentative in this competition," and I'm like, "It's episode 2, and barely.
It's literally
2.
episode 2, RuPaul. Shut up.
And this tells me they were expecting Dita to be a big presence in this season. I think that's why they saved her for last for the entrance.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, she's been kind of a quiet personality. And you can tell RuPaul is like, this is not what we cast you for. You're doing it wrong. So she's putting her in her place right now. So I really hope Dita can take the hint and figure out a way to really boost up her personality, or I think she could be gone very soon.
I liked what she said when she's like, "I'm just waiting for my moment for when the path is clear and I can shoot above these girls and get ahead in the race." I'm like, that's a good line. That's what RuPaul wants to hear.
True.
Just
apparently it wasn't, because Rue was like, okay. Anyway, Relisa, it was just like, I'm fearing that RuPaul is not seeing Dita at all. That's I feared it. My fears are coming true, and I am really liking what we've gotten of Dita over these 2 episodes, and it would be a shame to lose her very early.
I agree. Another thing that stood out to me with Rue was her talking to Lil about being a boss lady, and she's like, "Okay, if you're a boss lady, what do you sell?" And without hesitation, Lil's like, "Opium."
Opium.
Girl.
That moment alone secured Lil. I was like, nope, Lil has skyrocketed in my rankings. I am obsessed with Lil. Obsessed with Lil. Without thinking. Opium.
She's got that Manchester Queen sort of thing. Like, that's the humor in Manchester. It's just very like punchline, like it just hits you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm obsessed with Lil. I was having this conversation with the guy on my rugby team who I mentioned last episode, who I said has the same voice as her, which he took as a compliment and loved, by the way. He's also obsessed with Will, and we were just talking about like how engaging she is and how her sense of humor is just like fresh and current, but also like distinctly British.
Yeah, I love it. And then she also gives a critique to Chanel, and Chanel's like eating it up. And I actually thought, for once, I was like, this is actually a really good critique from RuPaul.
I disagreed.
Oh.
Yeah, because well, we had Chanel show her design, and it had kind of like that top part that went all the way around her shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Like a boat
And
neck.
Rue was like, "Oh, you should make it asymmetrical, like the bottom of your dress, with part of it going under your arm here." And I thought that I really liked the classiness of how it initially was on there. And I just, the whole like going under the armpit, I was like, "No, I don't really like that." But in fact, I literally wrote down, where did I say? I said, Rue gives Chanel bad advice about the top of her dress.
I
So,
liked it.
I'm glad we have difference of opinions here.
Definitely.
Oh, I liked it the way it was. I didn't want her to change it to the asymmetrical thing. It seems like we're waiting for me to say something.
Well, yes.
I do think though, if Rue gives you like a direct critique like that,
You should definitely
either
do
have to
it.
take
Do
it.
it.
you have to do it, or you have to do like, it's not as applicable in a design challenge, I would suppose, but you have to do like a GG good and be like, no, I'm confident that this is gonna work.
Yeah. I appreciate your criticism, or I appreciate your concerns, but I don't have the same concerns. Like, it's very that. But Chanel seemed really receptive to it, and we saw the ultimate garment, and guess what? She looks stunning, so who cares? I do love, just from the RuPaul critique to the creation of the garments and everything like that, seeing Kiki, Lavoie, and Chara together, who are three queens I never would have put in the same group together for anything. And yet their dynamic was the most fun for me. And especially just because they were just having fun with it. And I really appreciated seeing that from all three of them. It was like, would never have put these three together, and now I want them to go on tour together. You know what I mean? Like, they're all, I would say, the singers tour, but who knows it? Can Chara sing? Do we know that, Eris? I'll take
Not
that as
I
a no.
recall.
Got it. Cool.
Not that I
Anyway.
recall. I've never heard her sing.
But yeah, their dynamic the whole episode was really
Beautiful
fun.
garments.
I definitely agree. Like, I had a lot of notes I wrote down about it, but I think my favorite thing is like we get all of these type of segments in the show. This felt so organic and real. Like the conversations where Lavoie is like, "When were you born?" 1998.
Right.
Oh, that's when I moved to London. Like all of that felt like a real conversation. And
Yeah.
I feel like we don't get enough like real conversations in Drag Race anymore. But just the whole dynamic and how sweet and like the thing I can't emphasize enough about Lavoie is she never feels above anybody. And I thought she was going to. I thought she was going to be above it all, above the people, above the situation she's in. But no, she's so like relatable to these girls that are so much younger than her. And I just think she's so funny and such a sweetheart. I'm truly a big fan now.
And that spurred that mirror conversation that they were having too, where it was Chara was like, I was really intimidated to talk to you, Lavoie. And we get this, like, it was a very earnest conversation. And I absolutely agree with you, David. It felt so organic. It felt so much like, oh no, Lavoie's just trying to get to know these girls because she wants to be on the same level as them. And I really appreciate that. Like, she is, like you said, she's not putting herself above anything. She's not treating anyone like they're less than. She's really just trying to get to know this group of girls and having these relatability moments and coming and being like, I have a lot to learn from this younger generation that are doing this new kind of the new age of drag. I have a lot to learn from that. Lavoie, because I didn't particularly love her on Queen of the Universe. I'll say that. but I'm really appreciating the personality that we are getting from her on this season.
What I will say is, I think that entire trio is made up of very like sweet and nice people. Like, obviously, I know that Chara Festham is like a really lovely person, and I think we've also seen that from Kiki and Lavoie. I want to see more of Kiki in the episodes coming forward, though, because I think we did get. I mean, obviously, Kiki was kind of a focus of the storyline this episode, for reasons outside of her personality that we will be discussing on Look Over Here. But I do think like that group is honestly such a lovely collective of people, and that's what made it like really lovely to watch. And the mirror talk was just it melted my heart. And I think Lavoie reminds me a lot of Davina De Campo because they exist within the same genre of drag. Like high level, like high drag British drag is the best way I can describe it.
They are neighbors on the same drag planet.
Yeah.
Like they are next door neighbors on the same drag planet, and I love them both.
And I think that
I don't think
so.
Just kidding.
A red wig and a pink and orange gown. I don't
silver gown
think. But
no, I'm doing Lavoie.
Oh, okay.
But I do
Come on,
think that Lavoie also has that thing that Davina has where she's been in the business like a really long time. And even though she's still aware that you can't treat people like garbage, because as any working British drag queen should know, the moment you treat another drag queen like garbage is the moment you stop getting booked in that city, and then that city, and then that county.
Yeah. There's also
unless it's the Vivian.
Like, unless it's the Vivian. There's also this like, I feel like this is a great time for Lavoie to be on Drag Race as well, because it seems like, because like you said, Eris, she's been doing this for so long that like, I'm interested to hear if we're going to hear something about this kind of phenomenon from her, but it feels like she's almost grounding herself a little bit to get back into where drag is in the mainstream again.
Yeah.
Because she's been doing it for so long, and because she does a very, very specific kind of drag that still is very, very marketable, and she's obviously got a very, very strong and lengthy drag career. I like that she is doing Drag Race at this point in her career to give herself a boost and to almost modernize her drag in an interesting way. And I like where she's at right now in this competition, and for all of the reasons that we have been talking about.
I think for speaking for someone who is in their 40s and things like that, it comes a point in time for a lot of people when they get into their 40s. I know it happened for me in my 40s, but when you start to realize, yes, I've been here for a long time. I've done a lot of things in my life. I've, especially people who have perfected a craft of theirs that they are a part of. And they're like, I've gotten to this point. I perfected this craft. I've been doing it for so long. But then it's a point of self-reflection where you look and you say, I've done this for so long, but so much has changed since I started doing this. And I think that's where Lavoie and even I will say Dita and all of the queens who are in their 40s who are doing this journey on this show, they're taking this moment of reflection like, okay, yes, I've been here. I've done that. I've done it all and I've gotten really good at what I do. But now I look behind me and it's so much different than where it was when I started. I learned from the queens before me, and now I'm in this weird place where I can also learn from the queens behind me, and it can only make me better. And so you take the time. It's when you get stuck and you stop learning. My grandfather always said, the moment you stop learning is the moment you're dead, because you need to learn every day of your life. You continue to learn, you continue to grow, and you continue to better yourself. And so I love that she is taking this time, because she could have come into this competition and been above me now. Like, y'all are so not on my level. And she could have been that way. And it would have been justified in the fact that she is that good and she's been that long. She could have did it. and I don't think people would have been like, oh, LaVoix, you don't deserve your platform. No, because she earned her platform. But what she is doing is saying, I'm not going to be that person to just shun away the new, because I need that new. I need to stay relevant. I need to stay in this. And if I'm going to do Drag Race on this level, I have to learn from what these girls are doing, because that's what Ru likes. That's what these judges like. That's what the people like. And so I might not be able to do all of it, but what I can do is learn. I've listened to a lot of you all on the panel and people who I've learned in my life as I start on in like, oh, this new language, this new lingo, this new attitude, just the new stuff. I can't just be like, I don't want to do that, because then I get left behind, and then I'm people like, what's wrong with you? Like, how can I relate and meet people where they are if I'm not willing to learn? And so I love that she has taken this time to learn and meet people where they are, so they won't be like, oh, she's just untouchable, and nobody's untouchable in this world. I love that for her, and I love that for any older queens who decide to continue to do this, or in any part of life, whatever you decide to do in life. If you go into law school at 40, if you go into whatever you're trying to do and change your career at 40, do it and
become
learn
a fabulous podcaster at 40.
At 40, do it. Learn from those before you and those coming behind you, because you can never stop learning. Period. Just do it. I love that. And yes, I have become a fan of Miss LaVoix. In this episode, I was like, I like her. I like her a lot more.
And what I would just like to add on to what you said, Logan, is I definitely think this is the right time for her, because the kind of drag that LaVoix does, you most commonly see in pubs in the UK. However, LaVoix is definitely too successful to be doing a pub gig, because I don't think any pub would want to meet her booking fee. Because when I get booked at a pub, it'd be like £100, and I'm not what a pub is expecting. I'll put that out there. But like the type of drag that LaVoix does is what you would see at a pub, just not to her level, because she's that refined and she's that polished. So
and she's been putting that much work in for that many years, to the point that like she needed an elevation in her career. I think Queen of the Universe did provide her a nice platform to start that building. And I think Drag Race is a great place for her to be right now. I absolutely agree with you.
Absolutely.
We love you, LaVoix.
Love LaVoix. Love LaVoix. Can we talk about the House of Zen and just how beautiful, and this episode of Project Runway that we got from the three of them? Because Lana, the whole time I was like, are we watching Project Runway this week? Like, the way
on my silk
I was like, where is my silk charmeuse? Thank you. But the way they work better together in this challenge than any group on Project Runway ever. Baby.
Period.
Ugh.
They left their egos.
But I loved this episode of Project Runway that we got.
I thought it was I liked how they did it. I liked how they broke it down. And most people were like, oh, well, somebody did more work than others and blah, blah, blah. I like how they were like, this is my strength. This is my weakness. Let's figure out what we could do. And let's, do it and make it cohesive and make it work. And they did that. They worked well together. We'll talk about the runway, but they worked.
I think it was calculated.
Yeah, I do too, because it was a lot of we'll talk about it. But I'm
excited to talk about it.
I'm excited to talk about it too, because baby, you do that to me, we have problems. But yeah, I liked how they did it. I think certain things were a little calculated in how they picked who did what, but it worked out. I'm just in my head, I'm laughing right now because of the result. But yeah, I still thought it was a good, interesting. The House of Zen is what I expect to happen with three seamstresses. Is what, like, if they were not and did not have a good collection, I would have been like, why are y'all here? all three of y'all should
Right.
be ashamed of yourself. Like every single one of you should be ashamed of yourself if you're not gonna come out here and have the best collection with 3 seamstresses and designers on one team. Like it just had to happen. These other groups, they ain't have it. Maybe one person can glue well, but people have a really good design aesthetic, but maybe can't sew well. They had all of it on one team is what I expect. Like they had better.
Yeah.
Can we talk about everything with Kiki?
Oh my god.
The 5 different, 8 different, 12 different changes with Kiki.
Even the design she showed Ru, it was just like the heart-shaped bodice part.
I loved it. Oh, I was so obsessed with her sketch. Like the way that she was just like, yeah, I'm going to do this like heart-shaped situation here, and then it's just going to come down, and it's going to be this beautiful Met Gala. Yes, God, diva, absolutely, yes. And Ru's like, okay, Lavoie. And I'm like, no, Kiki, no. No, Kiki, no. I can't lose Kiki.
No. What got me about Kiki's design is she changed the bottom half so much. And don't get me wrong, I like the heart. And we'll talk about Unlock over here. There's things she could have done to make the heart better. But she changed the skirt so much. Like when she went up to Ru, she had a fucking crinoline with her. Like I thought she was going to do like some kind of like teacup dress moment or like a ball gown. And then she kept changing it. And at one point it was just a strip of that like black pattern fabric. I was like, Joel, that's not how you make a skirt, please. I know I'm not a good sewer, but at least I know what a skirt looks like.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, by the time she was like, okay, I finally found it. I finally got my design. I believed her. I believed her in my soul. I was like, oh, good. Thank God she finally figured out what to do with it. It's going to work.
That sketch that she showed Ru, I related to it so much because that would have been my sketch. Because I can't draw to save my life. I couldn't sketch nothing. I'd be like, here's the heart. This is the idea. Go with me, Ru. The heart. The front.
Walk with me, Ru.
Walk with me.
Walk with me.
Heart is the front. Okay. The heart. Then this bottom part that's just look like a triangle. It's the skirt. And it's gonna flow down and it's gonna have a long train behind it. And wait. And then these little circles that look like just circles, that's a chain. It's gonna go across the bodice, and then for the razzle dazzle tazz of it all, those little things that look like dots, those are diamonds, crystals, period. They're gonna be all over the place. Period. Because I can't draw to save my life, so I would have to explain the like to a T for Ru to baby. No, I was like relatable. No. I get it, girl. Yeah. I get it. Sewing, drawing.
Yeah.
Not my zhuzh.
I can design. I just can't make half of what I design.
Right. I can tell you what I want.
I have the ideas.
I want the skirt to flow like this and go. See me, I would have took some fabric, tied it together, and wrapped it around my body, and they've been like, oh.
Lana and I have watched enough seasons of Project Runway available on the Cup TV for recaps through season 6. Ding. Mm-hmm. But we've watched enough seasons of Project Runway where we know exactly what we want to do. We just can't do it.
I can't do it.
I can speak in all the terms. Like I know exactly what I want. I can't make it. But
this is I just happen to have this laying next to me because I'm in the process of moving.
Werk.
This was the first time I ever tried to make chaps. I have worn these out in public. That's not a hem, that's a raw edge. And that is the crotch area.
No.
And then yeah, I safety pinned the bottom because I was too lazy to hem that. Anyway, I've learned some lessons from that.
Anyway, we have to talk about the next day in the workroom. We're there. We have to talk about it. Saki is gone.
She slipped in the shower.
Oh.
She slipped in the shower and hurt her knee.
No.
And she was on crutches. And for me, that's so traumatizing because my mom slipped in the shower and broke her hand and her wrist. And so when I hear somebody slipping in the shower, my sister slipped in the shower and got a concussion. So anytime I hear people slipping in the shower, I'm like, no. That I don't. But
This is 4 straight seasons of Drag Race UK with an injury.
Did someone get injured on 5?
Who got injured? Nobody.
Naomi.
Yeah.
Oh yes, she
Oh, yes.
did. Naomi
They never
did.
acknowledged it on the they barely acknowledged it on the show, but
Because she
Naomi
kept
did too.
going. She
Yep.
sure did.
What? I'm
Yeah, she had to sit for the girl group challenge.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
like 4, and they're all 4 very different injuries. That's
Who
the
was
other
3?
interesting thing about it.
Who was
3
doing
was
the risk
Victoria.
assessment?
Oh, then who was 4? Sorry.
Oh,
No, I don't think anyone got injured on 4, but
you
Veronica
can
Green
count
had to go home with COVID on
Veronica
2.
for 2.
Oh no, it's Veronica, Victoria, Naomi. Okay, so 4 out of 6 seasons. Let me say that. Sorry, 4 out of 6 seasons with an injury on this, or injury or removal of from the competition because of things.
And I'm going to be like really honest here. I thought Saki was a finalist based on the fact that she did not come back to the stage of Viaduct for a very long time after she went away. And I was like, oh, she must have made the finale. And to learn that she was injured, which I had no clue because I saw Saki out a few times after
wow.
Drag Race filming. It's like, I had no clue. And I can't even explain how heartbroken I am for her, because I know part of her leaving, she gave up her position as a Viaduct showgirl, which like is gold dust if you're a lead drag queen. The Viaduct showgirls are a very, very lovely, talented bunch. Go subscribe to Viaduct's Instagram page. But the fact that she like left Viaduct to do Drag Race as well, also I'm led to believe she left Viaduct to. I know she has gone, and they did like a leaving party for her. But the fact that she left, like she gave up that position for Drag Race, and then that happened, is so gut wrenching to me. And also, she's really hot, and I want to see her on my TV.
She better be on season 7. She better be on season 7.
Naomi too.
Naomi come back too.
Well, Naomi lip synced for her life.
Oh, she did.
And lost.
Mm-hmm. That is
good.
But hey, if Veronica's gonna get another chance, if Victoria ended up getting another chance, why? Like, I need Saki to have another shot.
Yeah.
I just like.
I don't like anybody leave like that. I don't want to see
anybody
leave like that.
I want to see people eliminated on Drag Race every week. I agree with you, Lana, but not like this.
Not like that.
Not like this at all.
What was weird is that it's kind of like one of those Survivor times where it's like you have a medical injury or something going on, but it's up to you whether you leave or not. We're not going to pull you. Like, she made the decision herself, and I'm like, why is she the one making? If she's on crutches, if you all know that there's probably going to be physical challenges,
right?
They should have made that decision for her. Because now people are going to say she quit.
No, I would never say that.
She couldn't stand and
couldn't stand and do anything. What do you want her to do? She can't wear heels.
I think honestly, I don't even think production needed to make the decision. I think the reality of the situation is I can't stand, I can't wear heels, I'm not going to be able to dance. There is legitimately no way that I'm going to be able to properly give my 100% in this competition. I don't even think production needed to be a part of the decision, honestly. There was no way around what happened for her, unfortunately. And it's heartbreaking. And I hope that whether it's season 7 or whether it's another opportunity a la what Victoria got, I hope Saki gets another shot on Drag Race at some point. Put her on Philippines versus the world. Put her on Philippines All-Stars. I don't care. Just her talent and her just how incredible she is. I'm
make her host Down Under. No, I'm kidding.
She could.
I wouldn't do that to my worst enemy.
But Saki's gone. We hope you can come back, and that will be great if
Love
she
you, Saki.
come back. Love you, Saki.
Love you, Saki.
But that just leaves Relisa
and
Dita all by themselves. And I think Saki was the one that so
Saki was the organizer of the group. Saki had the most experience. It was very, Dita and Relitha were both kind of just like, well, we're going to make it work.
We'll make
It was a real Tim Gunn make it work kind of moment. And I was really, really hoping that their looks would at least be good enough to be safe. I was like, please just let them both have looks where I can easily justify both of them being safe. Spoiler, that happened and I was so thrilled about it. But I was like, just let them be safe. They're already at a disadvantage. I didn't want to see either of them go anyway. Just, Rue, come on, Rue. Just, come on, Rue. Just push them through. Just let them do it.
And I was hoping to see what the final product would look like for the cocktail party dress for Saki. So I went to her Instagram earlier today to see, and she said she forgot to bring it with her, like from the workroom, but she has really been leaning into the slipping in the shower. So she's got a couple of fun posts on her Instagram. So go follow her.
Her caption was literally forgot to take the dress with me. So here's a photo of me in a bathtub. I'm like, yeah. I love it. I love that there's levity to the situation for her. That's what I'm happy about. Happy about.
You have to.
Yeah. So otherwise,
that was it.
Boom, boom, boom.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ew. With returning guest judge Kristen McMenemy.
I need to jump straight in and say my favorite part of critiques was Kristen McMenemy's glasses. She looked amazing. It was just her reading her notes with these glasses that made her eyes look really big, and I was just like, you are the most fantastic person I've ever seen in my life.
And speaking of most fantastic thing I've seen in my life, RuPaul.
This
looks so good.
This is a major hit for me. This is not a miss. I said it in our little group chat. So I've been like scoring all of the host looks for every franchise we watch this year. And I was like, I bet this is really high up on the scores I've given RuPaul this year. And I looked, and sure enough, it was the highest score I've given RuPaul for a look. So I really like this. Yeah. And that's across 4 or 5. That's across 5 different franchises for RuPaul this year.
I love that. Yeah, this is probably going to be on the end of the year best Ru look at the Cup Awards, which
I don't think Lana's
that's
it's good. Not my favorite, but it's good.
She looks good.
Good.
This fabric.
I don't know if it's the fabric for the. I don't know. It's
my favorite color combination, though.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I love
blue
this
and something else.
Baby blue. Well, I love this baby blue and this red specifically, like that color combination. Oh, I love that color combination so much.
I like the colors. I don't know if I like the silhouette.
I really like.
I'm the opposite. I really love the silhouette. The fabric does look like really expensive shopping paper, like the kind of shopping paper you'd probably pick up in, like, I don't know, Waitrose or something.
Yeah, but I'm not mad at that, honestly.
Me neither.
Because it looks expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
And the
It looks
boots.
expensive. The boots with the matching boot cover. Zaldi, you kind of did one with this for me, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also like to thank Graham Norton for coming dressed as Kristen McMenemy's wife.
Right. And Michelle in this cute little floral number. Oh, yeah, no. The pink tights are not doing it for me.
Yeah, I'm not in this shoot. I'm not a fan of that.
I've just noticed
pink tights.
I like the outfit though.
Those are she has tights on, David. Those are not her legs.
Who?
Kristen McMenemy.
Oh, the lavender tights.
I think we've all pronounced Kristen McMenemy's surname differently.
McMenemy.
Cianenemy?
Kristen Cianenemy. Correct, yes. That's what we're going with.
It's an anemone.
Kristen McMenemy. Do. Oh, global.
Menemina.
Menemina.
Kristen Menemina. Anyway, that's all we get to see of the slideshow because the rest of the challenge is literally the runways, which We will be talking about over on Look Over Here. We got to talk about the runaway critiques, though, and the way that Chanel gets critiqued and says, well, I also made this, and this. Oh, I lived, baby. Oh, I lived for it. I loved every moment of it. I lived
It's
for this.
Rue kept asking everybody, what's your favorite part? And Chanel was like, my favorite part was the collection as a whole and just all the work we put into it. And Lil, I made this for Lil. 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 I'm like, oh, I see.
Which is not the story we got in the workroom, by the way, because the story was Chanel made patterns, Marmalade sewed, and Lil worked on accessories. Now, I'm going to be Lil's number one defender here, and I'm not sure if it's just a northern thing, but I will always jump to a bitch's side. So, Lil did, in fact, publish everything she made, so I'm going to list it very quickly. I can't read this. Generously sized top hat from a laundry basket and a yoga mat, Chanel's hat, her own gloves, Chanel's gloves, her bag, Chanel's bag, the sequin trim corset and trousers on her outfit. She decorated Marmalade's belt and choker, spray painted all of the feathers, made the sequin trim for Chanel's look, did the embellishment for Chanel's cape, and emerged escaped from beneath the bus.
Yep.
She set her up. She set her up knowing she was going to do this.
And the edit didn't help because, like, Lil gave, like, an explanation and they just chopped it down to her, like, before she even really mentioned what she made. She was just like, well, we all played to our strengths, and then it cut.
Yeah. And also, like, she probably was blindsided by that and not prepared. And I have zero doubt that Chanel had been planning the entire time they were making things. She was planning, like, she probably rehearsed that 30 times in her head, knowing exactly what she was going to say to RuPaul at the right moment. And I felt so bad for Lil. I was like, this is low. This is very low.
Honestly, Chanel is, from what we get of her on the TV, very conniving. That being said, it's good entertainment.
I lived for this. She is giving, and I said this to the people that I was watching with. Chanel O'Connor, for me, is very Gia Gunn coded. I'm not wrong.
I don't know how to retort that, so I'm just gonna nod. Yeah.
Like, there's just something about her energy and the way that she approaches conflict and the way that she approaches, you know, workroom discussions. It's giving very, it's Gia Gunn. It kind of is. And I'm kind of living for it. Like, I appreciate someone that is coming in and being 100% authentic with who they are. And even if it means her ending up looking a little villainous, I kind of live for the delusion.
Delulu.
I'm not sure I see the Gia other than them being villains, because I think Gia purposely went out of her way to, like, hurt people's feelings when she could. And
well,
I don't
that's why I said Gia Gunn coded, not similar, but I said Gia Gunn coded because there's this level of I'm 3 steps ahead, and I understand. Like, we talked about Chanel, like, potentially rehearsing this line about 10 times before she said it to RuPaul about making all of Lil's stuff. There's this, like, I don't know, there's this intentionality with the way that Chanel is going about this competition that reminds me a lot of the way Gia would always be kind of one up on people. I would say on her original season. Not to the extent that Gia is or was, but definitely there's this energy that I'm kind of living for. It's bless you. It's
Thank you.
a refreshing kind of personality to have on Drag Race, because we haven't seen someone who is leaning into this kind of archetype in a while. And I find it I find it refreshing. I think the only other person that I would maybe compare Chanel to personality-wise so far and the way that they attack the competition is someone like Captivating Cat Cat, where Cat Cat was just very real and very genuine. And like, if what she had to say and her thoughts caused drama, then so be it. And she was willing to apologize for hurting other people's feelings, but she definitely made sure that she stood behind what she was saying. And that's just what I thought of. That's all I have on that. But yes.
Can we talk about some of the critiques they were saying when the girls went back to Untucked?
Oh, do you mean that one reference?
Yes. When they talked about Kiki and they said it might be time for her to phone home, and I just had to pull this.
Oh, dear God.
I was like, why is that so accurate? It's so mean. But I was cracking up. And
David said earlier that he may be giving an all-time low score for the year in Look Over Here. I mean, I already know whose look you're going to be talking about. I'm curious whether our scores will be similar.
Okay. Maybe.
But we'll see.
But then we also get all of the judges talking about Chanel throwing Lil under the bus. And they weren't having it. Michelle and Graham especially, they were like, yeah, that was not a good look for her. And I thought that was hilarious how it backfired. Because, well, and RuPaul was probably the biggest. Actually, RuPaul was defending Lil. She's like, who cares if she didn't make it? That's a strategy to let somebody else do it and use their strengths. That's a strategy. So I thought it was really funny just hearing them all talk about Lil. I'm like, I don't think she thought this plan through as well as she could have.
Not at all. Not at all. But shall we talk about what ends up happening and what could have been?
Can I talk about how I did not find that joke funny at all?
Which joke?
The ET one?
The ET one. I didn't find it funny at all. I didn't find it funny at all. I thought it was very out of taste. It was kind of gross.
I get that. I definitely get that. Well,
me and my flatmate kind of looked at each other after that was said in a little look of disbelief. I think the word we would use is gobsmacked. We were just a bit like, I can't believe you said that.
Like, the look wasn't good, but it didn't elicit that response.
I get the look. Look bad. Bad look. But to compare somebody to E.T., kind of...
But I didn't get that they were comparing how she looks as a person to E.T. It's just the
when you say it, and you're talking about certain people who look like E.T., it kind of makes me feel kind of uncomfortable.
That wasn't at all what I got from a comment when she
you wouldn't, and a lot of people wouldn't. I'm just saying, a lot of people who are not. If Kiki was out there and they said that to Kiki, it would probably feel a little different to Kiki than it would to anybody else standing next to Kiki. I'm just saying, from my perspective, as a black person, to be compared to E.T., that's like being compared to Jabba the Hutt, which we have heard many times before. It's like being compared to any creature who just happens to be brown and who happens to not be cute and not attractive. And that's what we get. We get Jabba the Hutts. We get E.T. We get Monkey. We get gorillas. We get those beastly creatures as a comparison to us. So it might not have been in taste. Like, that might not have been RuPaul's intention, because RuPaul is black, but we all know how that goes. That might not have been her intentions at all, but that is what it felt like when I saw. I was like, oh, okay. But that might not be.
I definitely
Kiki might not have taken it that way. Kiki might not have taken it that way. She might feel the same way that you felt. For me, I was just like, ugh. again with these jokes, again with the low hanging fruit jokes. And I get it because E.T.'s costume looked like all the stuff that they just threw on is what Kiki's looking like, all the stuff that she just threw on.
Yeah.
But when
the subliminal messaging was definitely there, and it didn't come off the way that it should have. Especially, I do agree with you, Lana, especially coming for a person like Kiki, and with comparisons, like you said, that have been made to Black people. I was a little like,
I mean, everybody just sat here and laughed about it, and I just wanted to make sure I said my piece before we moved on from it, because y'all clearly just laughed and thought it was funny, which is fine, because I thought the joke was funny to people, and it was not funny to some people. But I just wanted to make sure my piece was on that. I didn't find it that funny for me, personally. Mm-hmm. But if you find it funny, please go ahead and laugh at it, because we are a free country. You can laugh all day and all night at whatever you want to laugh at. But yeah. Sorry, I did not mean to bring the mood down. I just thought it wasn't funny.
I get it.
No, but it's important that you use this platform and you said that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's pointing out something that I didn't think about previously, and I'm glad you've said it.
Definitely. I agree with that. So we get our results. We do get named a bottom 3 and bottom 2, which was correct, I would say. Kiki, Zahira, and Octavia as the bottom 3. A bottom 2 is named of Octavia and Kiki. And now knowing what the lip sync song was, I really would have liked to see these two go at it. Like, I liked the lip sync that we got too. I think the lip sync, we'll talk about it. I would have loved to see Kiki and Octavia. Ooh, that could have been the lip sync of the year.
Mm.
And I think they really, really missed out on a good opportunity with clearly some money spent on this Kylie Minogue song. We'll talk about it, but I would have loved to see these two go at it, honestly.
They would have ate it up. They would have ate it.
And still send no one home.
Still send anyone home. Yeah, I think so. It would have been just good to see it. It would have been good to see it.
They end up deciding to save both of them. I'm happy about that. Obviously, no one goes home again, and I'm happy about it. I was like, no one else needs to go home. We didn't want Saki to go home, but no one else needed to go home. And we end up with a top 3 lip sync for the win, which I believe is the first top 3 lip sync for the win ever across all franchises. I don't think they've ever done it with a top 3. And I don't know how they would have decided 2 of them specifically. So I was happy to see all 3 of them get the opportunity to lip sync. 2, Tension by Kylie Minogue. Come on. I just really would have loved to see Octavia and Kiki eat this up. But this lip sync was still really good. It was still a really, really good lip sync. 3 very different performances, 3 very different performance styles, and I liked each one of them for what they did at certain parts. Like, I really, really enjoyed this lip sync.
I noticed that as well with the 3 different styles, and I think Chanel went more sultry and she tried to throw like burlesque elements in there. Marmalade went full like, well, the word I would describe as feral. Like, Marmalade went feral. Lil walked this like middle line and delivered it perfectly, and it was clean and it was good. And I just like, I didn't know what to expect from Lil as like a lip syncer, because I've never seen Lil perform before, and I was just like, oh, she's got that thing. She's got that thing where a performer just grabs you and like gets you to look at them. Because honestly, I can probably remember one moment of what Marmalade did, and that was her pulling herself along the floor. I can remember one moment of what Chanel did, and that was her pulling her gloves off. I remember Lil's movements and the way she presented and the way she delivered. And that's what made it a good fucking lip sync. Oops, sorry.
I liked this lip sync. I thought that each one of them did a good job, but my eyes could not get off of Lil. Like, I like what she did. It was subtle, it was sultry, it was funny, it was all of that rolled into one. And this song, I love this. I've never heard this song before in my life, so now it's going to be in my
Really?
playlist. I love this song. I'm not a huge Kylie Minogue person. Like,
This
to
is
be
one of her
honest.
newer. This is one of her newer hits too, so it makes sense.
To be honest, I'm not. But I thought this was such a good song. I would have loved to see the other two kind of eat this song up because I think they would have. But I did like how Lil performed this song, and I felt like she just grabbed my attention just from the little things she did, from the way she flicked her head and the way she was just like, okay, and then she got to the beat and was like, I was just like, oh, I just love the little subtle things for me, and I enjoyed the lip sync though.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty clear that it was either going to be Lil or Marmalade that would win because they barely showed Chanel.
Yeah.
I kept looking for her. I'm like, why are they not showing her? Oh, she's clearly not winning. But I was really hoping Lil would win, just for the storyline because I think it's
Me
kind of
too.
hilarious.
Me too.
And guess what? She did.
It was the funniest thing because when they asked
Living
her
in lavish luxury, yes.
when they asked, not the cat, but but no,
Well, I'm
when they
saying
asked,
yes to Lil winning.
but no, when they asked in the back, when they were like, what would you think, or if Lil would win, and they were like, just talking about it in the back, and just
Mhm.
what, who wins, who wins, who wins, who wins. I was like, ooh, for the storyline, let Lil win. I don't know how it was gonna happen, but please, for the story, let Lil win so we can see Chanel just be so mad, just
I think
fuming inside.
yeah, that conversation it's so much sweeter because they were like, "Oh, Lil, how would you feel if Chanel won?" And Lil was like, "I'd be fine with that. I'd go to sleep happy." And
Right.
then they asked Chanel, and Chanel was like, "I would never sleep again." And I'd be like, "Well, Mama,
I hope
take your
you-
night
I
aid."
honestly, conspiracy theory. Follow me here. Follow me here, y'all.
I'm
I
following.
honestly think they were setting up for the potential of Octavia and Kiki lip syncing for their life and not sending either of them home. But I think because of what Chanel did on the runway, I think there could have been a switch and they decided to do this top 3 lip sync as opposed to just because what are the stakes of not giving them all a repeater badge? We've seen 6 people win a challenge at the same time before.
On Drag
So
Race
why
UK.
not give it to all 3 of them for this challenge, which I would have been very happy with as well. And I think it would have been a very deserved group win for the 3 of them. But they want to create some good TV. I think they went into it knowing they wanted to give Lil the win and said, we're going to make it a top 3 lip sync for your life instead, or lip sync for the win instead. We'll keep Octavia and Kiki. But for the drama, because we know we want to push Miss Chanel's buttons a little bit, we're going to make them all lip sync. And we're going to give the win to Lil, which was deserved because she, in my opinion, had the best lip sync. But we're going to push Chanel's buttons here and see what happens. And I
can't wait for next episode.
I can't wait to see. Oh, wait, I'm so sorry. I have glasses on. I can't wait to see how this turns out. But Lil wins! Yay! And I am going to go ahead and already say that I'm out of the draft for this season, probably. I do not regret drafting Saki, though. I'm very proud of my
one
decision.
elimination?
Well, yeah. I don't think Zahira's going that far either.
Who's your reverse?
We only have 2 people on our teams?
No, we have 3.
Oh.
I have
Who do you
Lavoie and Zahira.
Oh,
I could see them
Go.
both being finalists.
wait, who do I have
Yeah,
again?
we'll see. I don't remember. Chara, Chanel, and Relisa. You're fine. But as far as the draft is concerned, currently I am in 4th place with 15.5. David's currently sitting in 3rd with 18. In second place with 20 points is Eris, and currently leading the draft is Lana with 22 points. Come on, Lana. Yes, go ahead. And next week we have an acting challenge. Very excited. Very excited indeed. So that's where we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so much for joining us for this recap for episode 2 of Drag Race UK. Make sure to check out our Look Over Here episode where we talk all about all of the looks from this design challenge. And in the meantime, subscribe, like, and share on the way out. Check out the description below where you can find all of our audio podcast links, our other YouTube channels, our Patreon, our social media, and where you can get your merch, including but not limited to cup mug. And with all that being said, we are going to go ahead and get out of here. So cheers. Bye. Goodbye, divas.